Welcome, everyone, to the Week 9 College Football Predictive Playbook Show. I am joined by my good colleagues and friends, Rocky Atkinson and Don Buster. We're not going to waste any of your time. We're going to dig right into these games. And we have 3 games that we like quite a bit. We're going to start with Don Buster. Welcome to the show, Don. You're going to tell us about the high noon game, Texas. Disappointing season for them so far, 4-3 on the season, and 2-2 in the Big 12, taking on number 16 Baylor, who's been a surprise, 6-1 overall with a 3-1 Big 12 record. Baylor is a 3-point home favorite, over under 61.5 points. Tell us where the best bet is on this game, Buster.
Well, as always, John, much appreciate for having me on the show, and we're going with Baylor here, -3. We actually had this line at 4.5, so we think there's a little bit of value with Baylor. Both teams are coming off bye weeks. And as you said, John, Texas had a couple of tough losses there. But off these bye weeks, we actually figured that it's going to favor Baylor. Statistically, Baylor has the better offense here, believe it or not, and they have the much better defense. Baylor's 15th offensively to Texas's 24th. And defense-wise, Baylor's 32nd in the country, and Texas comes in at 106. And that will probably be the difference here. Baylor at home, actually, their offense is this good that they are actually averaging 8 yards a play at home compared to only 6.5 on the road. But what's going to win the day here is that we just figure Baylor will get more stops. We're not sure. We're not even sure because both these teams are. If you look at their offensive statistics, their pass and run are almost identical. They do both very well. They're both balanced. The thing here is Texas has lost 2 in a row. Baylor comes in here off a nice win against BYU. Like I say, they both off bye weeks. And I can't help but look that Baylor, here's a club that wasn't even picked anywhere near the top 5, never mind being right up there ranked. And they end up having a chance, if they could win this week and next week, they have Big Bad Oklahoma at home on November 13th. Also, even though you could throw this in as a handicap, Baylor's got a little revenge from last year. They went into Texas and lost 27-16. So, and as always, John, always you're the stat guy. I like giving you a little stat. Texas is 3-7-1 the last 11 meetings with Baylor, and we're only laying a field goal here. We're going to go with Baylor -3.
And you're right. You know I love the stats, Buster. But I also want to hear what's going on over SportsMemo for you, starting tonight and going through the weekend. The floor is yours.
Okay, John. Well, over at SportsMemo, we have our 5% college football game of the month going, and we put this out on Monday night. And we have it up for $9, so everybody can see how we analyze our games. And the line's stuck around the same where it is right now, and here we are Thursday. So, yeah, head on over to SportsMemo and grab that for only $9, our 5% college game of the month. We're doing very well on college. And I just want to add one more thing, John.
Sure.
It's not lost on us, on people who are watching this show, who give your time to these shows, because we know the way the landscape is now, there's everyone and their brother are doing shows and all that. And we have a lot of years of experience here. We just aren't fly-by-night guys. And we try to give the best analysis as we can. I'm not the best at doing that. You guys are much better at these analysis. I'm just a little bit of a gambler. But I just wanted to tell everyone that we really do appreciate you taking your time, because we know there's lots and lots of other places that you could go watch a little show. So we try to keep it short and sweet, and that's what I'm going to do here right now and throw it back to you, John.
Oh, I love it, Buster. Thanks for the compliments, and it applies to all 3 of us. It applies to our whole team of that comprises of the Predictive Playbook. And I'm grateful that I have you guys on these shows, because it makes it so much easier to do. And our record is 63% against the spread on college football and NFL. That's pretty damn good, and it's transparent as hell. I mean, there's no way you can make these things up. But we're going to move over to the Big Ten now, and the Big Ten has a huge card. They have Michigan State. And a lot of questions are going to be answered after Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening when Penn State takes on Ohio State as an 18.5-point underdog. But first, we're going to talk about a 3:30 game. Northwestern is hosting Minnesota. Minnesota is really flying under the radar here. 5-2, 3-1 in the Big Ten, creeping up those standings. Northwestern 3-4, 1-3 in the Big Ten. Minnesota is a 7.5-point road favorite. Over/under is 43. Taking place at Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois. Rocky, tell us who the best bet is in this game.
Well, like you said, Minnesota's flying under the radar here this year. 5-2 straight up record on the season, having a pretty good year. Northwestern not so much at 3-4. Minnesota's off a solid 34-16 win at home versus Maryland, while Northwestern lost 33-6 on the road to Michigan last week. The key here, I think, is going to be in the rushing stats here. Minnesota rushing attack is averaging 210 yards per game this year, while the Northwestern defense is allowing 218.3 yards per game rushing this season. The Northwestern rush defense is ranked 122nd in the nation. Minnesota, they lost their starting running back. They lost their backup running back, but they had two freshmen step up. Freshman running backs Kai Thomas and Marquise Irving each ran for more than 100 yards last week against Maryland. So they stepped up and did well. Minnesota defense is allowing only 85.7 yards per game on the ground this year. They're ranked number 5 in the nation in rush defense. Minnesota's 2-0 straight up on the road this year. They're allowing only 6.5 points per game. They're 3-0 straight up their past 3 games overall, allowing only 17.3 points per game. Northwestern's 1-3 in conference play this year, getting beat by an average score of 33.5-14. A few trends for this game: Minnesota's 9-2 against the spread the last 11 meetings when playing at Northwestern. Minnesota's 15-5-1 against the spread the last 21 conference games. Minnesota's 5-0 against the spread the last 5 road games. And the favorite here is 4-1 against the spread the last 5 meetings overall in this series. I'm going to lay to 7.5 here and take Minnesota on Saturday.
Great breakdown, Rocky. And now tell us what you have going on over at SportsMemo.com this weekend.
Well, on Saturday, I have a top college football play going. Last week, I had a monster play, which was on Wisconsin. It cashed. The week before, I had Purdue as double-digit road underdogs against Iowa, and that cashed as well. In the NFL Sunday, haven't loaded anything so far. I'm documented 65% in the NFL this year, though, with all my picks. That counts preseason, the perfect preseason, too, though. Also, NBA, possible NBA plays this weekend, 83% in the NBA this year, possible hockey, and NASCAR on Sunday. So be sure to check me out on SportsMemo.com.
Great stuff, Rocky. Now I'm going to take us into another matchup that I alluded to in the Big Ten, and that's when Ohio State takes on Penn State. And, guys, we say it all the time, but it can't be repeated enough. The polls mean nothing at this point. You have 4 top 10 teams in the East Division of the Big Ten. Think about it, 4 of them. At the end of the season, there'll be 1. And it's more than likely going to be Ohio State. Michigan plays this week. The winner of that game advances to the possibility of being one of those teams. Ohio State, Penn State play each other, then it's a round robin. So whoever goes undefeated among those 4 teams that I mentioned is going to be the Big Ten champion, in my opinion, because in the West Division, I don't think Wisconsin can stand up to any of these teams. I don't think Iowa certainly can't. Purdue is fading. Maybe it's Minnesota. Like Rocky, you said, they are on a roll right now, but we'll have to wait and see. But in this matchup, Penn State is an 18.5-point underdog. First and foremost, I think that's too many points, but the bet is actually on the over. I think Penn State's offense is really grossly underrated, especially the recency bias of that hellish game they played against Illinois last week. They went 9 overtimes until Illinois finally pulled off the victory at Happy Valley, so you have to have hats off to Illinois. But my predictive models confirm that Ohio State will more than likely score 28 points against the number 2 rated defense in the nation, that being Penn State, based on yards per point and a lot of other metrics. They are top 5 defense, but Ohio State's offense is arguably one of the best in the nation over the last 3 games. So when they score 28 or more points, which my models say Ohio State will, the over is 125 and 60 for 69%. Ohio State goes over the total with a 19-9-1 push record for 65% when they average at least 7 yards or more per play. Coach Franklin of Penn State has several over trends in this matchup. He's 10-2 over in road games after having won 4 or 5 of his last 6 games. He's 17-7 in road games after a game where they committed 1 or fewer turnovers. Another angle, 25-10 when facing excellent teams that are outscoring their opponents by 10 or more points per game on the season in his entire career, which includes his tenure at Vanderbilt. So I see this game going over the total of 60 points, and I do have a lean. Penn State's ranked number 20, 18.5. And guys, you won't believe it, but every year in college football, there are underdogs of 17.5 or more points that win the game outright. So far this year already, we've had 13 of them. The one that I had, I usually have one that wins. I never know when that is, but it was Texas A&M when they beat Alabama. So just be aware of that these dogs that are 17.5 points and higher that are ranked are not automatic locks to bet the favorite. And that's all I will say on that particular game on the side. But I do love the over. So, guys, I have a lot of stuff going on over at SportsMemo myself. Just go over to the sm.buzz/JR, and you'll be able to see everything once I get my card finalized. You're looking at 3 guys that are hitting in the mid-60% against the spread in college football and the NFL. 3 of the best on SportsMemo.com. That's why we do these shows, because we have fun, we learn from each other. The exchange of information is fabulous. So on behalf of Don, Buster, Rocky Atkinson, myself, SportsMemo.com, and these predictive playbook shows, may all the wins be yours. Thanks for